Welcome back, guys. It's the Tightwad, and today I'm going to be reverse searing a ribeye, and I'm going to be using the TurboStream raised basket. I already have the TurboStream ring in here, and the raised basket just fits right down here. I'm going to be doing indirect on this side and direct heat on this side. And today I'm actually going to be using this Smoking Joan lump charcoal. It's a newer company. It's been around for about 3 or 4 months and actively selling for the last month and a half or 2 months. And it's out of California, and it is mesquite lump charcoal. When I saw the name on the bag, Smoking Joan, I knew I had to have it. My wife's name is Joan. I asked him immediately for a t-shirt, and he agreed to send me a bag of lump to try out as well. And it's mesquite wood from northern Mexico, and he said it's best cooked on nice and hot. So I'm gonna cook a steak today, reverse sear, so I'm gonna cook it really slow. And then I'm gonna cook it really slow on this side at about 250 until it gets to my internal temperature of about 125. Then I'm gonna cook it nice and hot on this side over the hot coals. So let me get my cast iron grates on here. On this side. This will be my indirect side. Then I'm going to get my oil-soaked paper towel on this other side, and I put it down on the bottom of the lump bed. Go ahead and get that lit. Make sure my bottom vent is open. Now that that's lit, I'll just make sure that there's some lump on top of it that can catch. And it will catch and spread, no problem. So now that that's ready to go, I'll go ahead and get the grate on this side as well. I'm gonna leave the egg open for about 10 or 15 minutes to let this get going pretty well. Then I'm gonna close the lid and get my vents dialed in to about 250. And then we'll get the steak on to start cooking. While I've got this starting, I've already got my steak on the counter and I'm letting it get up to room temperature. All right, it's been going for about 7 or 8 minutes now. I'm gonna go ahead and close it. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn my vents down to about a 1/2 inch on top and a 1/4 inch on bottom, which should stabilize me around 250. It's gonna go up a little bit at first and then it'll come back down quickly. And after about 10 or 15 minutes like this, when this white smoke clears, I'll be able to put my steak on and get it going indirect. My steak was in an Allegro marinade for about 3 or 4 hours today. And I do that on any choice cut or lower meats. So this is a choice cut that I have, but it's got some pretty good marbling in it. And then today I'm also gonna be using some Holy Cow by Meat Church. And it's a barbecue rub that's amazing on steaks. So I'm gonna shake some on the top here. And I'm pretty liberal with it on a thicker steak. And I give it a little bit of pat so that it holds on a little bit better. And then I'll do the bottom also. And then I'm going to do the sides. This is definitely one of my favorite rubs to use on steaks, whether I marinate it or not. I like to cover it up with this Holy Cow from Meat Church. So this steak is ready to go on. Now I'm just waiting on the egg to get ready. It's gonna be about another 5 or 10 minutes. So I'm gonna take this back inside to let it sit on the counter. And when it's time to throw it on, I'll throw it directly on the indirect heat side of the egg. Our temperature is stabilized at about 225, and we have some clear smoke coming out of the egg. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the steak put on the indirect side, which is the side closest to the camera right now. And I have my meter probe in here so that I can monitor the internal temperature without having to stand out here. And I'm gonna slide the steak all the way over to the edge away from the coals. I am gonna come out one time and rotate the steak so that the other edge gets towards the coals, just in case we have some spillover since we're using the raised basket on this side. So we're gonna shut this down and then just monitor our temperature. So in the meter app, I set up for a beef ribeye and my target temperature is 125 internal. This over here reads the ambient temperature from the tip of the device, and this is showing the internal temperature is currently 63 degrees. So we got it up a little bit closer to room temperature, but not quite there. But this is going to rise, and as soon as it gets about 5 degrees from 125, an alarm will go off on my device and let me know that it's almost ready. I'm gonna pull the steak at 125 internal temperature. Then we're gonna get our heat really hot in the egg, and we're gonna do a sear on both sides. I'm at 100 degrees internal temperature right now, so I'm going to rotate and flip the steak so that if any of the heat from here is getting too much into the steak here, then we're getting it even on both sides. So I set a alert on here to alert me when it was 120 degrees internal temperature. So it's alerting me now so I can get out to the grill before it hits 125 and get it removed. And then I'm gonna open the vents wide open so that I can get the grill nice and hot. So I'm gonna get the steak taken off the grill. I'm just gonna set it on the cutting board. And now I'm going to close it back down. I have the lower vent completely open, and I'm gonna remove the upper vent cap. Make sure you don't set it on something that'll burn. So I set it on my granite here. And I'm gonna let the egg get up as hot as I can. It'll probably get up to close to 600. And then I'll be able to sear it nice and close with that raised bed of charcoal that I have. So here's a good look at the steak now. It doesn't have a ton of color yet. It is cooked on the inside up to 125 degrees internal. So it's a nice medium rare. I'm gonna have to pull the meter probe out now because you're not supposed to cook anything above 450 or 500 because it can damage the internal component. So I'm gonna get that removed, get the egg nice and hot, and then we'll throw the steak back on to get the nice sear on it. Our egg is at about 570 degrees right now. So I'm gonna burp it and open it and get our steak on there and get some nice sear on one side. Put it right down over the flames. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it. I'm gonna give it about 2 minutes, and then I'm gonna rotate it 45 degrees and drop it back down on that same side. And then I'm gonna turn it over and cook to doneness. And I'm gonna go up anywhere between 135 to 140. It's been about 2 minutes on that first side, so I'm gonna burp the egg again. Rotate it. Shut it back down for about 1 more minute. Then we're gonna flip it over and check the temperature. All right, we're gonna burp it again. Got a nice char on that side. I'm gonna shut it down, give it about 1 minute on this other side, and we should be good to go. All right, last time I'm gonna burp it. I'm gonna pull this steak off. I'm gonna check the temperature quickly and make sure we're good. We're just below my target temperature, so I'm going to throw it back on and get some nice grill marks on it. I'm gonna push the steak down against the grate. If you had a steak press or meat press, this would be a great time to use it to get those nice grill marks, but this works just as good. And now I'm going to close the lid, shut the lower vent, drop the cap back down on top to extinguish the fire, and I'm gonna let this steak sit for about 10 minutes, and then we're gonna slice it up. I just wanted you to see the presentation side versus the full sear side of the steak. Some people don't mind seeing the full sear side. Other people say it looks burnt, but the flavor is amazingly intense. The mesquite lump I used by Smokin' Joan gave this steak an amazing flavor. It was definitely one of the best we've had. If you like this cook, give my video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to click the notifications bell so you'll see when I post my next cooks. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Click any of the videos showing on the screen right now and they'll open right up on your device. Check the details for the video to find links to some of the products I used on this steak. Make sure you check out the TurboStream website to see the raised basket that I used. I hope you guys have a great day.